Hello guys and welcome back. Fish keeping is definitely one of the most beautiful hobbies in the world, and what I really admire about it is the variation. We all love and keep different type of fish, shrimps or different type of aquariums, but at the end of the day every single one of us do things a little bit differently and have his or her fish tanks special. I think this uniqueness is definitely something that makes our hobby so beautiful and special, and one of my favorite things to do is actually getting inspired by other people's work. Even better if I can talk to them directly in person, or the best if I can visit their fish room. And today I'll be presenting you one of the opportunities when I got actually access to one of the most beautiful fish rooms that I've ever seen, and I'm really glad that I can share it with you guys today. We'll be visiting Fishroom of my very good friend Jan Kristin from Slovakia, who specializes in breeding Endlers, Corydoras and Shrimps, and the way he uses easy to keep aquatic plants in his aquariums is absolutely mind-blowing. He's using no additional CO2, no fertilizer, yet his aquariums are so beautiful and well maintained with a lot of inhabitants. But today we're gonna take a special look on one of them, and that is Corydoras. Jan has one of the most beautiful collections of Corydoras that I don't think many breeders around the world have, and I'm super happy that I could film it. So without further ado, I present to you 2 floors of aquariums and the most beautiful Corydoras collection I've ever seen. So let's begin with Corydoras virginiae that are commonly known as Miguelito Corys. They were really active and not camera shy at all, and their main trait was dominant black spot in front part of their bodies and smaller stripe over their eyes. Their origin is Peru, and in this case they were sharing the tank with smaller Corydoras schultzei in the hobby, also known as black Venezuela Corys. Even though they're called Black Venezuela, their origin is also Peru. They were introduced into the hobby in 1990s, so they're around for quite a while, but for sure are one of the rare species as they're not really commercially bred as much as other Corydoras species. They're super cute looking though, and they cannot crossbreed with Miguelito Corys, so there is no issue for them to share the same tank. Next up is Corydoras adolfoi, in a hobby also known as Adolfo's catfish. They originate from inland waters of South America and are found in Rio Negro Basin in Brazil. Even though they were labeled as Corydoras adolfoi, we had a sneaking suspicious they could also possibly be Corydoras duplicerus as well. Differences between these 2 species are really small, and therefore if there is someone who can tell them apart, please let us know which one is on a video so we have it confirmed for sure. However, we still think it's Corydoras adolfoi though, so we'll see. Next up was really beautiful aquarium with Corydoras melini, in a hobby also known as false Bandit Corys. The bandit part of their name comes from the stripe they have through their eyes, what reminds bandits quite a bit, and the false part originates from their stripe on the back. As we'll soon see, Bandit Corys have their stripe copying their backs, and false bandits have it a bit curved down toward their tails, so there is a little bit of their natural body color between the stripe and the top of their backs. They were really active, and as you can see they were living in perfect harmony with red sakura shrimps. As far as they are well fed, they will not harm the shrimps at all, and as this tank was offering a lot of space and places to hide, both of these colonies were living peacefully next to each other. Now we're moving to real bandits, Corydoras metae, and as I already mentioned before, these Bandit Corys got their name based on the headband stripe that is going through their eyes, and as you guys can see, The stripe on the back is copying their backs perfectly, and that is the main difference between Bandit Corys and false Bandit Corys. So it really is only a slight difference between these two types, and I really think both of them have very attractive look and also active behavior. Seeing group of Corys munching on some pellets is definitely real fun and satisfying look. Moving on, we have one of the most common species, Panda Corys, that originate from Peru. All of these aquariums are placed on the top floor in living area and are beautifully scaped with easy to keep plants. I like the selection of Panda Corys for this particular aquarium, as they were like little puppies swimming all around with super active behavior. They also have very attractive look with their panda patterns, and I'm not surprised at all that in the combination with them being super easy to keep and breed, they're one of the most popular Cory species in a hobby. Also, similarly as their bandit friends, they have red sakura shrimp living with them, making the aquarium even more beautiful to look at. Next we have a bit more unique Corydoras loretoensis, known as well as Loreto Corys. These guys have pale bodies with dots or spots spread throughout them, and their dominant trait is really dominant dorsal fin. Especially in males, this dorsal fin can be twice as high as their body height and are originally from upper Amazon streams. They were a little shy and not so active, what may be caused by their slower behavior during the day. Based on the experiences from the breeder, they much more prefer night, when they are also swimming around a little bit more. Next up we have Corydoras eques or horseman's Corys, which originate from Brazil. True eques have a bit more green coloration across their body, and this is more rare orange type. They were accompanied by lime green antlers that were trying to steal the show, but we still, luckily, did manage to get some nice shots. In the next aquarium we can find really beautiful Corydoras sterbai, in a hobby also known as sterbas Corys as well. These guys originate from Guapore River between Bolivia and Brazil and have really super attractive look. They are well known in the aquarium hobby because of their beautiful orange fins, what makes them a bit different from other Cory species, and in combination with nice body pattern, they are quite in demand for a variety of aquariums. In combination with Campoma No. 7 Endlers and live plants, this aquarium was really lovely to watch. Next up we have 3 striped Corys, Corydoras trilineatus, I hope I got that one right, which were for majority of time hiding and was quite difficult to film them. These guys are quite similar to Corydoras julii, and even though we were quite sure they are Corydoras trilineatus, if we have some Cory specialists here, once again, let us know down in the comment section below whether we are right for sure. After a little while and in cooperation with lime green endlers, they took our bait and came up to the light so we could film them properly. Once again, really attractive bottom dweller that originates from Amazon basin in Colombia. Corydoras paleatus or pepper Cory is another very common species that we have widely spread in a hobby. I keep these guys myself, but Jan Kristin has very interesting longfin variation. They originate from Parana River Basin and coastal rivers in Uruguay and Brazil. They have really interesting pepper body pattern, and as they are so popular we can find several varieties in a hobby. As I've already mentioned, this is lovely looking longfin variation, and next up we will have some albinos of this same species. Albino Corydoras paleatus are also widely spread and super easy to keep and breed. In this aquarium they were accompanied by El Silverado Endlers, really eye-catchy variation of this little fish. Next we have Corydoras zygatus or black Bandit Cory, based on their dominant black band running across their body. They have lovely blue eye and a bit of orange on their gills, and we can find them in river stream of eastern Ecuador and northern Peru. Moving on, we have Corydoras burgessi, known as Burgess Corys as well. These guys can be found all over the South America and have been in a hobby for a while. They have similar band over their eyes as Bandit Corys, but they only have dominant spot in the center of their back that partially also covers their dorsal fin. They were really shy and didn't really want to move out from their shelter even when we offered them some sinking wafers, so you guys will have to be alright even with these distance shots. Corydoras schwartzi or Schwartz Corys are another stunning variety of this lovely bottom dweller. They can be found in Purus River Basin in Brazil, and they are easy to recognize by their black dots that are aligned in lines across their bodies. Really cool thing is that along their bodies these stripes are horizontal, but on their tail fin they're vertical. They were also not as active as another species we have filmed, but at least we can take some real close look at them. In the next aquarium we had Corydoras axelrodi, also known as axelrods Corys. Their origin is Meta River Basin in Colombia, and they were accompanied by one of my total favorite Endler strains, Sandemaria Bleeding Heart. Axelrod Corys have pinkish pale body color with stripes across their body, and in contrast with bright orange Endlers, this aquarium was really lovely and beautiful to watch. Twosaddle Corys or Corydoras weitzmani are also nicknamed as long weight. They gained this nickname by quite a story, as they were first discovered and collected in 1949, and only 5 specimens were found in Amazonia. However, it wasn't until 22 years later that they were scientifically described, so we had really long wait for this type of Cory. Corys in the video were quite young, so their coloration was not in its full potential, and they also suffered few losses after import. Luckily, they were now fully integrated into their new home and eating well, so soon they will be hopefully thriving. The last aquarium we'll look at consists beautiful Corydoras agassizii, also known as spotted Cory. They can be found in Amazon basin and have very attractive spotted pattern. Being scientifically described in 1876, we can definitely say these guys are in a hobby for ages, and it's super cool that we can still keep them in our aquariums. So these were 18 different species of Cory Catfish in single fish room. I'm really mind blown every single time I have the privilege of visiting this amazing place, and I do have some Corys and Endlers from this amazing breeder and cannot wait to share more videos about them with you guys. So what do you guys think? Do you agree that this breeder definitely deserves credit? I also need to mention that he does all of this as a hobby and sells fish very occasionally only to local fish shops for food credit or to fellow hobbyists that are really into Corys, Endlers or Shrimps. Well, please leave your comments in the comment section below and feel free to correct me if I said anything wrong or if you have anything to add. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like and maybe consider subscribing. There is much more great fish keeping content on the way. Last but definitely not least, thanks to Jan Kristin for allowing me to film in his fish room, and to every single one of you who watched this video all the way here. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.